Welcome to the Manuchehri podcast. Over the last 30 years, it has been my joy to assist humanity in aligning with their magnificence so they may heal, discover their natural gifts, and communicate with loved ones living on the other side. May you also experience delight while we dance in the powerful, intuitive world of energy. Let's get going. Welcome to Where Energy Meets the Divine podcast. Thank you for joining me again. If you're new to this podcast, thank you so much for being a part of this experience. Remember to like and subscribe below so that you can be aware of these podcasts often. Today is Mother's Day in the United States, so it is actually May, 12th? Yeah, it's May 12th. Just for reference, so that you know when this podcast was created. Before I go to the voicemails, which you can leave me a question on my website at energyintuitive.com under the podcast page, you will get a free self-hypnosis meditation, which is really fun. Those are very effective. I recommend if you decide to do the self-hypnosis meditation, do it every day for 30 days. It takes that long to really trigger a human being to move into a different awareness and perception of their magnificence. So before I go back to the questions and start answering them, I wanted to talk about spirit guides. So before you moved into a body, you decided to reincarnate to Earth, which is an option. Free will is the strongest law in all of the universes. So you don't have to come to Earth to experience anything. It's not necessary for you to do that. You also, when you decided to come to Earth, which was, again, part of your free will, it's highly recommended that you have spirit guides accompany you during a visit onto one of the lowest vibrational planets in all of the universes. That's what Earth is. So many people who start to venture into the multisensory world worry about nefarious energy or dark energy or entities. And I remind people that if you are in human form living on Earth, you already live on the lowest vibrational time-space reality that exists. In other words, the energy outside of Earth is much higher. Words like violence and crime do not exist outside of Earth at all. So we tend to forget as we reincarnate to the Earth, it's part of the package. Although some people remember their past lives. Children tend to have a better recollection because they're so fresh from creation. But as we're passing through the veil to move into the Earth realm, we forget a lot about our previous experiences, even why we decided to reincarnate. And there's multiple reasons why a being decides to reincarnate to the human realm. So the spirit guides are highly recommended because they know your whole story. They've studied all of your human lifetimes and all of the lifetimes you've had besides, the physical ones. They're very aware of what you want to accomplish, and their job is to guide you in this physical realm. And having fun is also part of the accomplishment that we wish to experience in the physical realm. So Earth can be a very fun and beautiful place. It's different when you're in a physical than a non-physical form. It's very different to go bungee jumping when you don't have a body, right? Than when you do. It can be a lot more exhilarating in the physical form. So these guides, you pick your guides. They cannot be a part of your family because your family is already on Earth, or they were on Earth when you were on the other side. And there has to be a lot of separation between your humanness and their connection to your family, because the guides have to stay very, very neutral, and we don't want them to be biased in any way, shape, or form. So it is required that beings that guide humans have had human lifetimes, because it's an option. People do not have to reincarnate to the physical realm. It's not a requirement. And there's like a hologram that's like a catalog, and you pick them out. And they have to agree, because free will is such a strong law in all of the universes, they have to agree to also be your guide. So it's this beautiful experience where these beings that you believe are more evolved than you are, and they most likely are, agree to guide you during this lifetime. And if humans can spend a little bit more time in their body and quiet their mind, then they're going to have a better awareness of what their guides are guiding them towards. And regardless of what you choose, because humans usually don't choose what is in their best interest, it's just a big part of the human reality, because most humans don't know how to quiet their mind. They don't know how to go inward. They're not patient. They don't wait. They just react. And they usually make decisions out of fear, not out of joy. And the universe, including your spirit guides, are only going to illuminate what's in your best interest through happiness, through calmness, through compassion, not out of fear or anxiety, because those experiences do not exist outside of the earth realm. So you pick these wonderful beings, and regardless of the decisions you make, they will unconditionally guide you towards your highest good. Because even when you choose something that you could have avoided, your guides still guide you through that whole situation. And it's not usually till we're on the other side, we're like, I could have done that differently. I made a rule, although, I believe in individualization, so my children got to choose whatever they wanted. But the rule was nobody can get married until they're 30. Now, not everybody was 30 when they got married, but they were very close, very close to 30. Partially, I brought up that rule is because when you're in your 20s, most people are just way too young, especially in the early and mid 20s, just way too young to make decisions about marriage. And we live longer. So if people want to have long, fulfilling partnership, I think they need to wait. I also think it's important for, men and women, but mostly people who choose, to identify through the female character of energy, is to build a foundation and have success in their life career-wise. I think that's critical and important for their longevity and their health and well-being. And most people don't enter their first Saturn return, this is astrology speak, until they're 28, and they don't finish it until they're 30, sometimes 31. And that first Saturn return, you get a lot of clarity about who you are and what you want. And so you could, if you got married when you were 20, which a lot of people in my generation did, or even 23 or 24, 6 years later, you may have a big aha moment of like, oh, I'm really this person. And ooh, we don't match. Someone could already be married and go, oh, we don't match. So it was one of the rules that I created or asked my children to please be mindful of. So let's say somebody decided to get married at 22, even if their parents had rules, right? And the guides were like, yeah, if you really want to get married, because the universe could care less about marriage, it really cares less about most of the things that humanity think is important. Love is crucial, but marriage is not required to love others. It's not a requirement. So, the person gets married at 22, they haven't had their Saturn return, they don't really know who they are, they've married when they didn't know who they were, so they didn't know what they needed. And the guides are still going to 100% guide them through whatever they want to experience with all the love and devotion and compassion. And if we can rest in the lower half of our body and learn to quiet our mind, that's what meditation is for, then we can hear the universe having a conversation with us, or feel the universe having a conversation with us, or see the universe having a conversation with us, which helps us make the best choices all around. And when people are making really good choices for themselves, the guidance is even greater. It's like when you're making a good decision for yourself, it's like a magnet gets attached to you and just drags you through life in spectacular ways that go beyond anything you could imagine. That's what happens when you follow guidance. Now, luckily, you don't have to. You can make whatever choice you want. But if you could keep that in mind, that there's more magic when you follow guidance versus there's a depletion in magic when you do not follow guidance. Okay, I'm going to go to the phone lines now. And here we go.
Hi, my name is Megan, and I live in Denver, Colorado. I am asking today for possibly a little bit of advice or direction. I'm in my mid 40s. I've got a young child, and I am interested in going into the broad field of the healing arts. I'm not really sure what specific direction to go, and have started to look down some different options such as massage therapy, dynamic body balancing, or muscle testing. And I was curious if my guides or my higher self or you yourself had any advice to give me as to how to begin or in what direction to like take my little canoe in this new direction. I have been focusing on resting, meditating, and just following my joy and hoping that the answers come in that process. So I appreciate your consideration and I thank you in advance for your answers and I wish you well. Thank you.
Thank you, Megan. I wish you well too. You're doing the right things by resting and following joy. I would not recommend for you, and I always communicate through everyone's spirit guides, meaning they're talking to me. They're talking to my guides, and then my guides are talking to me. And I like to reach for the stars. So, our higher self, our God consciousness. Massage, no. Energy medicine is what you're really interested. And I think you need to go lay hands on people because you kind of don't even know what it's all about until you actually lay hands on someone with an intention. So that's what I would recommend is go lay hands on people. And then start looking for classes or reading books that bring you joy, that bring you enormous, powerful joy. But I think it's laying on of hands, not the mechanical part of massage. I mean, massage is amazing, and my body loves massage, but I think that it won't be enough for you. That you really want a deep intuitive aspect, and it doesn't mean that massage therapists aren't intuitive; they are. But if you market yourself as a masseuse, you have to do massage. It's not the same thing. If you find out that you love massage, which I don't think you will. Then of course you can go back to that. But I think you should go lay hands on people and see what it feels like to you. When you live in the physical realm, you actually have to take physical action. If you have an aha about something, you have to go explore it. It doesn't always just come running to us. We actually have to take some action. That's the whole idea of being in a body. Okay, thank you.
Hi, Marie. My name is Maria. I reside in Fresno, California. The reason for my call today, or this recording, is I'm reaching out because I'm leaving a draining relationship of 8 years. He's a narcissist, and I consider myself an empath. We did the toxic dance for a long time before I realized the impact it was having on my spirit. We have 2 small children, they're 5 and 7, and I've learned over the last 2 years from inner work to manage my own energy and not be influenced by his tendencies anymore. I work really hard on myself to build the strength, the courage, and the self-love to finally leave. My problem is my 2 little girls are too small to detach and are influenced by his heavy energy. They always complain of stomach aches. We've had blood work on and medical tests on them, and everything comes back normal.
Right.
But they're constantly complaining of tummy aches, and it seems like at least once every month they have a fever. They're completely healthy, at least that's what the medical results reflect. So, how can I guard their auras from absorbing his stuff, particularly when they will be with him half the time now? Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry, Maria. That is a hard one. That's a hard one. I mean, we have to remember that before we reincarnate, we're choosing our parents. And we may not choose the exact parental unit, but wherever, whomever we're born to, whoever our parents are, regardless if we're adopted or whatnot, because it's really where we end up, that's truly our parental unit. The kids chose this. So there's an interesting dance between empaths and narcissists, right? So the wound for the empath is not caring enough for themselves, and the wound for the narcissist is not caring enough for others. And so there can be like a soul participation where being in a relationship with someone who has those tendencies can teach the empath to be more selfish and could hopefully help the other part of the equation to become selfless. But we must remember that your children chose him to be their father. That's critical. So, yeah, I mean, people who have those tendencies can be verbally abusive. They do a lot of crazy making. Your children are young. I'm very, very sorry for that. I think part of you is going to have to let go. I think part of the reason why the kids are having responses because you are so worried, and kids feel the energy of, their parents, and you're so nervous about it. Of course you will make these decisions, but I don't believe he creates harm with them. You know the situation better than me. I think he really loves them. I think he truly does. And I know the kids are young, but you're just going to have to be honest with them as they get older and explain things to them. They may not even figure it out until they get older themselves. But can you let go and be okay with the kids having half time with their dad, and remember that they chose him too? And when we're making choices as souls, they're really good decisions. They don't always make sense in the physical realm. They make sense much later on, like when we're out of those circumstances. So if you could start to say, this is your what if question, what if my kids are always happy and fulfilled? I want you to just use that what if question, whether they're with you or their dad, so it can start to change the biochemistry in your body, which will actually send different energy to your children. Because your fear of what they may experience is actually being sent to them. And when we worry about others, it actually doesn't help them. So try that. Okay? And best of luck to all of you.
Hi, Marie. My name is Christy, and I'm calling from Burlington, Wisconsin. I have two questions, and I'll list them in order of importance if you can't get to both. So my first question is in regards to my marriage of 13 years. I am married to a really wonderful man who loves me very much, and we have two children who are 14 and 11. But I have been feeling for some time that maybe this isn't the right path for me anymore. And it gives me a lot of fear and guilt feeling that way. And so I invalidate my feelings a lot around it. So I would love any information you might have around maybe the energy of the relationship and validating how I'm feeling, or if maybe I have something really wonderful and the grass is always greener on the other side. So that would be wonderful if you could tune into that. I really appreciate it. My second question is around my work right now. I've had my own business and been a massage therapist for 17 years. I'm also highly intuitive, and I also love to sing and make music. I've been recently tuning more into my psychic abilities, and I would love to expand them, but I also have a great calling within the area of music, and I'd like to combine the gifts and maybe even leave massage behind, which I hate to say because it's been a very fulfilling career path for me so far. But I would like to know if that's something that I should maybe stop doing altogether so that I can pursue these other things, or if it should be more of a fade out and I can do it all kind of a thing, just so that I can hold myself up financially. And maybe if you could just tune in around those areas, or what you might see are my greatest gifts. I feel like I'm being really selfish in asking for all of this, but I would really highly appreciate your inputs and what you might see for me. So thank you so much. I appreciate you greatly, and you have a wonderful vibration that I definitely resonate with, and I'm really grateful for you and the fact that I have found you. So thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, Christine, yeah, that was a lot of questions. I think you need to have a talk with your husband, and I think you guys should go get therapy. That's what I think. I think you're both very kind people. And, when we live with someone, we need to start sharing how we feel. That's the whole idea of true intimacy, is explaining your truth, your awareness, your consciousness. So that's what I would recommend. Yes, leave massage, become an energy worker. But that's the only way, as far as I'm going to go in terms of answering those questions. Yeah, become an energy worker. You will love it. You'll be great at it. All right. Thank you.
Hi, Mary. I watched you on Next Level Soul podcast and I was absolutely amazed. Um, my last 2 years were a real roller coaster, mostly privately. I felt tired. um, I have a feeling that everything that I have planned was just falling apart. My father got lung cancer. He's still fighting. And yeah, overall, just at this point, I don't feel a good connection with my higher self. And I'm really interested to hear your insights and advice for my next steps in my life and also in my business career. I'm working as a massage therapist and I'm really enjoying it. And I'm really interested also in past life regressions. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm so sorry about your dad's lung cancer. Luckily, the treatments for lung cancer have advanced and have improved, which is really wonderful. I think you should absolutely study, learn about, take classes for past life regression. You could have, make your massage a part-time and do the past life part-time or some sort of interesting combination, but definitely moving into the multisensory world. That's what you love. That's what makes you happy. Fall madly in love with yourself. That will make things change radically, quickly and radically for everyone, by the way, but definitely for you. Okay. Thank you so much.
My name is Victoria and I live in Florida. I have an interesting question and it may be a bit silly. It's about a dream that I had. And I know that dreams should not be taken literally. It is more symbolic. However, I had a very vivid dream with very powerful energy that prompted me to take an action. And to be specific, in the dream, I saw my right palm, the base of the index finger had a tattoo, which was a triangle tattoo, a simple. And that area was very illuminated, and it almost felt like it was a very powerful portal with some strong energy, almost like a healing energy. And I was looking at my palm and was radiating. And I woke up with this extreme convinced feeling that I must get a tattoo done on my hand. However, my logical mind is against tattoos. I don't believe that our body should be something written on. So my question is how to determine what the dream was trying to tell, and should I follow that vivid dream and the feeling that I must get a tattoo, or I just should take it symbolically and what the symbol would be. And thank you so much for everything you do.
Hello, Victoria. It sounds like you had a lot of fun in the dream. You do not have to get a tattoo. It's not necessary. I would just stay in the vibration of the dream. It sounds like it was very mystical. You felt empowered. I think that's what your higher self wants you to feel all the time. You could start to draw pictures of that triangle. I think it is a lovely symbol. It certainly was symbolic for me as I was moving from, not being multisensory to being a multisensory person. So I think it was very lovely and gorgeous, but you don't have to get a tattoo. Unless it brings you joy, it's unnecessary. I hope that's helpful. Thank you.
Hi, Marie. My name's Katie. I'm from New Zealand. I live in the UK. My question is, I feel like I'm going through a transitional phase at the moment. I'm like in my early 40s, and I feel like I haven't never really reached my I haven't found success financially, and I'm feeling a lot of pressure to make it happen more quickly. So I'm a collage artist. Sorry, I'm a graphic designer during the day. That's my day job. But I've kind of fallen out of love with it, but I've been pursuing my art, and that is really kind of starting to take off a bit. But I keep going into two minds in my brain of, oh no, don't do the art because how are you going to make money out of that? And you need to like get ahead financially quickly. So don't go down that route. But I keep feeling like I'm in, yeah, like kind of caught in limbo. If you have any feedback on, if you're getting any thoughts or ideas, or you have any feelings about that, or if you can hear any messages from my spirit guides, it would be amazing to hear back. All right. Thanks. Bye.
Hi, Katie. As I've said many, 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 many times on this podcast, wealth, creating it, has nothing to do with what we do it for a living. People can create all the wealth in the world doing the weirdest, wackiest, unique, interesting things. It's about our relationship to wealth. So we have to change our vibration every single time we interact with money. Every single time. That means before you touch your wallet, before you touch cash, before you touch a card, before you put your password into online banking, before you get financial mail from the post, before you write a check, you have to change their energy. Most people vibrate at a low frequency when it comes to wealth. They just do. They lower their energy immediately. As soon as they see financial mail, they lower their vibration. As soon as they grab their wallet, they lower their vibration. Even before they put their password into their online banking, they lower their vibration. So we want to raise the vibrations. So you literally have to think of things that make you happy. And this is true for everyone. This is a very simple tool. I've taught it to many, many, many clients and students over the years. It really works. It's very effective. People who have enormous wealth, regardless of their life circumstances, like they could lose a bunch of money, that doesn't matter. It doesn't affect them. They make even more money around the corner. It's because of the way they relate to the vibration of wealth. So when I'm looking at you, I'm seeing, Katie, I'm seeing lots of color. It's almost like the color's like butter. It's paint, I'm assuming, but it's like this really interesting pink with a little bit of coral in it. And it's like got ridges in it. Maybe someone took a big dollop of it from the paint can and put it on some canvas. And then just behind it, they are touching these colors, but there's different variations of the pink coral. Then there's this purple blue, also with variations right behind it, kind of snuck behind it. And when I try to look at the medium that it's on, it looks just, I can just see little flecks of white canvas. So color is critical and important to you. Try thinking of this thing, feeling what I'm talking about in terms of these colors before you engage with wealth. And this is a forever exercise. It needs to happen for the rest of everyone's life so we can all have financial freedom and we can help affect everyone else in the human realm so that everyone can have financial freedom and get rid of this whole idea that you can't have fun and make wealth and you have to work really hard to be successful. People can work hard if they want to. I like to work. It's one of my favorite things to do. But you know, we shouldn't have to, only if we want to. So give it a try. Okay, thank you.
Hi, Marie. Just wanting to know, I love your show. I'm from Australia, listen to you all the time. I was just wanting a mediumship reading for my beautiful sister who died late 2022 by suicide. I would really appreciate if that could happen. Thank you. Bye.
Of course, Carrie, and I'm so sorry. As you may know, since you've listened to me before, the universe, that means all of creation minus humanity, which is, humanity is such a small percentage of beings compared to all the other beings that exist. Even though we have 8 billion human souls here, there's many, many, many more billions and billions and billions of souls. Like creation is constantly creating more souls all the time. That's why we have young souls and old souls. That's every form of death or form of leaving Earth is considered suicide. So whether someone takes their life or they get hit by a car or they get cancer, or someone shoots them, or they die of some other disease like COVID, or some tragedy that has happened on Earth, Souls are choosing when to leave their bodies and how they want to leave. So just know that she really hasn't committed suicide in the way humanity thinks about it, because humans have kind of weird mixed feelings about that. It was just her time to go. She wants me to tell you, she loves you very much, by the way. She always loved you, and felt a kinship to you. She wants me to tell you that she's very proud of you, and she greatly, greatly appreciates the kindness and the love that you send her all the time. She goes, you probably were doing it when she was in a body, but she may not have felt it, because some people reincarnate to Earth trying to learn how to live a full life on Earth and not leave too soon. Again, every choice is a choice that we make before we incarnate, but some want to go, well, gosh, if I have a hard time, does that have to be my way to exit? Can I find a way to enjoy myself? Can I find a way to get over things and not have to be leaving Earth as my way to handle it, no matter how someone leaves? Sometimes souls feel so much burden. They go, well, if I get this amount of burden, I hope I can figure it out and stay in my body. But if not, I'm going to go this way. So that is one of the things she wants to work on, is to learn to be okay with the way life is and not take things so seriously. But she says that she confidently knows that you must have been sending her love and blessings all the time while she was in physical form, but she couldn't feel it. And now she feels it, she hears it, she sees it, and she's incredibly grateful. I'm very proud of you. Very proud of you. I hope that is helpful. She blows you kisses, like tons of kisses. Okay, thank you.
Hi, Marie. My name is Emily. I'm just calling from New Hampshire. I love your show and so appreciate your insight. I'm wondering if you might be able to shed some light on how to strengthen my relationship with my husband. He is a farmer who's been raised in a culture that says work is the most meaningful contribution you can make to the world.
Right.
And I feel like as a result, he wakes up as early as 1 a.m. some mornings and doesn't get home until around 6 at night. And is just generally more or less cheerful, but utterly exhausted. This lifestyle worked for us when I was working at a vegetable farm during the summer months of our relationship. But as I've gotten older, become a mother of 2 young boys, I'm just realizing I really want to model the value of rest and enjoy our children together. In addition to fostering, obviously, a work ethic in them as well. But if you have any suggestions of how to better grow this idea in myself and maybe in him too, and strengthen our relationship, I would so appreciate it. I also called a few months ago asking about a career path to follow once I get kind of back out into the world, and you had just mentioned energy work was something that was coming up.
Yeah.
And I just was curious if there was any resources that my spirit guides might have for me to start exploring in that realm. So yeah, those are my questions for today. Thank you.
Thanks, Emily. Your husband really needs therapy. I mean, it's not just a work ethic. This helps him to not have deep relationships, deep, intimate bonds with the people that he lives with and that he loves, because he's gone all day and then he's exhausted. So he really needs therapy, and pick a really good therapist, someone who's aware of consciousness and energy medicine and people like that. Those are the best therapists on the planet. I'm not a fan of super talk therapy, although your husband needs that kind of, needs a therapist who's flexible, who can do talk therapy, because he doesn't do talk therapy. He doesn't talk about his emotions because he's not aware of them, because he distracts himself from this amazing work. So I don't know if he's going to be open to therapy. You might have to, and you get to do whatever you want, but an ultimatum at some point, if things don't improve, like, honey, we need therapy, or you need therapy, or whatever he'll agree to. We need him to start expressing his emotions so that he doesn't feel that work is the only satisfying thing that exists on the planet, or the main satisfying thing, and that he can also have deep bonds and playfulness. I think it's great for you to want to have these things change. I think it's really healthy, and I think it's good to start talking to your young children now. What dad is doing is not healthy. I really think people need to speak out loud their truth in their relationships. I can understand why people didn't. I certainly did not, but I didn't know my truth for the majority of my marriage. It wasn't until the last few years I started having awareness of like, oh, no, I feel like this. I believe this. This is what I want. You know your truth. You need to start expressing it. There's tons of energy modalities out in the world, tons of them. So I would start researching them and stay in your body and feel which one makes you happy, and then perhaps take a class or read a book about it. That's what I would recommend. Go do something. Go lay hands on the farm animals if there's farm animals. And animals love energy work. All of them. Trees do too. Yeah, they love it. Thank you.
Hi there. My name is Lexus from Dallas, Texas. I'm really grateful to listen to your podcast and learn a lot from you every week. My question is regarding my brother. His name's Ben. He lives in Orlando, Florida. He's really struggling with self-love and not associating his negative thoughts with himself so much, and he struggles with ADD, and so I guess I just want any advice to help him just love himself a little more and just not be so hard on himself. So if you have any tips from a loving sister, what I could do to help him, or a message I could forward to him, that would be great. Thank you so much.
Hi, Alexis. You're very welcome. And it's hard when people won't do their own inner work, like, because we can't force them to. Like, even when I give messages to people who are in relationship about their partner needs therapy, we also can't force their partner to go get therapy, even if it's in their best interest, even if they're going to be happy. It's almost like people have to come to that awareness themselves. But of course, in some relationships, if they're going south, hopefully the other person wants to go get therapy. So I think if your brother started to use curious, positive, what if questions, they work super fast. They're better than affirmations. I sell a deck of cards. They're on my website, but you could make your own. You can just get some 3x5 cards. You can make them. I always keep some near me. This one I have, it's from the original deck, and it's, what if I love the incredible gift of who I am and all that I do? Like, when you repeat a what if question, you don't have to say it out loud. It's unnecessary. In fact, it's best to not even think about it, to just let it run in your brain. So if your brother could start repeating beautiful what if questions, something like that, or even something simpler, if he's really hardly self-critical, he may not be comfortable with language that's self-loving. He might be comfortable with, what if I'm starting to like myself? What if I'm beginning to get happier? What if my life is moving in a positive direction and I'm beginning to feel that direction? So that's what I think would work for him, because it's easy, doesn't take a lot of time or energy, and that works quickly. And then if you could have your own what if questions. What if my brother is feeling amazing? And don't worry about him, because worrying doesn't help anyone. It doesn't help the person who's worrying. It's not good for their vibration. And then we unintentionally send a lower vibration to people that we don't mean to. So that's what I recommend. He is very lucky to have you. You're lucky to have each other, but he's very lucky to have you. And I hope he feels better soon. He deserves to. He's a very good, kind person. Okay, thank you.
Hi, Marie. This is Joita from Arizona. I have a couple of questions, primarily what you see as far as the future of my relationship with my mom and my sister. They're on my mind daily. I've chosen to separate myself from them temporarily, hopefully, over just a lot of dysfunction and toxicity. It's funny, the older I'm getting, the more I'm realizing how dysfunctional my childhood actually was. And it's taking me a lot to not sit in victim consciousness with that and to really extract the lessons, because there are many. And I also do know that I chose them. My soul chose them. But my human side has a lot of difficulty understanding and I guess letting go, or being able to more so like step into who I'm meant to become, because I'm feeling like I'm being pulled back, if that makes any sense. So if you have any guidance on that, or what I can do, and just hopefully reassuring me that she is okay and that she's on her own path and that it's not up to me to save her.
Yeah, it's not.
That's very important for me, just to know if you could provide that information. And second, I had a Reiki practitioner that I was seeing who actually I became Reiki certified through. And I decided to end my professional relationship with her after she told me that she didn't see my partner and I, who I've been with for almost 7 years, having a child together. We had suffered 2 miscarriages, and I've never been pregnant with anybody else before. And I love him so much, and he's just incredible. And even though that was over a year ago that she said this to me, it's very difficult for me to let it go and to forgive and just to move past that. I think it might also be a lesson in practicing discernment and not taking on everyone's opinions or everyone's comments on what they think is right for me. But I'd really love your perspective because I do value you and think that you are extremely insightful. And overall, like what you see for me, for my purpose, and how I can get out of my blockages. I've been told before that I have a lot of issues with my sacral chakra, which might be linked to obviously my fertility
Right.
or inability to carry a baby to term. Any guidance you would have, I would greatly appreciate on every level. Again, thank you so much, Marie. You are amazing. Thank you.
Okay, lovely. Too many questions again, guys. I know I would answer all of these questions in a private session, and I know my sessions are booked out through 2026, but do my best to just answer one question for each person. Well, first, it's good to detach from people that we have issues with in our DNA, why we change and become who we really want to be. That's critical and important, and then we can re-engage with them later when we're feeling able to hold the authenticity of who we are. There's nothing wrong with that. And yeah, we're not responsible for anybody else's healing. You know, even soul contracts that so many people talk about do not exist. Souls are independent contractors. It's like critical and important to realize that. Unless something brings us joy, then we can go ahead and help whoever we want to and positively affect those that we desire to positively affect. People who really want kids and have problems with fertility, of course, I recommend they go to doctors and have checkups and make sure everything's working well. And then be open to adoption, be open to surrogacy, open to all of these things. I think if somebody really, really, really wants a kid, you have to be open to all those things and not be stubborn that it can only happen one way. That allows a lot of letting go. Because remember, all the perfect souls get to the perfect parents at the perfect moment for them. So I would just work on letting go and have those checkups, make sure that everything's working well, or do minor things that may need to be done so that you can maintain a pregnancy, and be open to all the other ways a child could come into one's life. I think that's critical and important. Okay, one more, and then I'm going to go off and enjoy the rest of Mother's Day.
Hi, Marie. My name is Donna. I live in Valencia, Spain. I'm originally from New York City. I lived in New Mexico for so many years, and that's where my people are. But apparently I'm supposed to be here in Valencia in this sort of desert of spirituality. And I'm trying to do all the work, talk to my guides, talk to the archangels, take care of myself. And my question for you is that I'm 63 years old, which is not a question, that's a fact on the planet. And I take incredibly good care of my body. But in the winter, my fingers are very swollen. And to me, that means that my heart chakra is a little blocked. I had an incredibly narcissistic mother, really controlling. And I've been working my whole life in trying to get that out of my body and figure out who I am. And recently trying to forgive her for being who she was, and I chose her, so I have to forgive her, and I have to forgive myself for choosing that, and also have a lot of compassion for myself because that's the soul contract I chose, part of it anyway. So I've heard other answers you've given people where you have the mother coming in and apologizing, and my gut reaction is, I don't believe her. I don't believe it. If that's what you tell me, that she's coming in and saying, I'm sorry, I don't believe it, which may be exactly why my fingers are swollen and my heart chakra is a little blocked. So I would love for you to please help me. I'm trying so hard to unblock these chakras and get my whole spine, the energy flowing. And Marie, thank you so much for your work and for the love you have for all of humanity. So I look forward to hopefully hearing from you. Thank you, Marie.
Thanks, Donna. And yeah, I really do love the human race enormously. So I want you to work on forgiving yourself. That's where forgiveness for others happens after, especially old souls. We blame ourselves for everything. Everything. So work on forgiving yourself. And it kind of looks like this, where you have this conversation with yourself like, honey, I love you. I'm sorry that happened to you. I adore you so much. I love you to pieces. And I'm proud of you. Like having internal nurturing conversations with yourself would be ideal. I think that would be critical. And then I think the forgiveness the peace, I don't really like the word forgiveness for others. I don't know why. Maybe because in the human culture, it means that we just forget the whole thing. We're not supposed to forget it. We're supposed to learn from these experiences, but we want to look for peace in the experiences that we have, to find the joy within them, even with people who have been difficult or complicated for us. And we want to find that that peace regarding it. So through self-love, now you're right, it's your heart chakra that I want you to start taking energy in. You're not good at receiving at all. So that's your what if question. What if I easily receive? And imagine beautiful light or water moving into your whole body, not through, just only in. Work on receiving. That will help with it was kind of a Raynaud's experience when you have really, really cold fingers, and you're right, it comes from the heart chakra. But don't worry about the total forgiveness of your mother. I think real forgiveness is spontaneous, and it feels like peace. It feels like joy. It feels amazing. It's an incredible feeling. Just work on loving yourself and forgiving yourself. Have a beautiful day, and thank you everyone for listening. Bye-bye for now.